My Vang coming to you live from the Heart and Hustle studio. I am super excited to be part of this incredible panel. Really excited to be hosting our monthly live chat with some incredible, amazing community leaders in South Sacramento. I'm also really excited that this is being streamed live because we tried doing this on Monday and we had some technical difficulties. As you all saw on our social media, National Good Neighbor Day was actually yesterday. And we were planning to celebrate a day early by doing a live chat like this on Monday, but had some technical difficulties. Really glad that I could get our community leader together again on Wednesday to have this live chat so all of you can meet them. If you're tuning live right now with us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. I know there are lots of virtual events, family and community events going on, but you are choosing to spend it with us here this afternoon. So again, thank you so much for joining us. Again, I am so excited for our live chat with district community leaders in South Sac. And as I mentioned earlier, yesterday was National Good Neighbor Day. And this month, Team Heart and Hustle decided to do a live chat with their neighborhood leaders. Just some background information. In the early 1970s, National Good Neighbor Day was created by a resident of the small town of Lakeside in Montana. And she was really driven to see her community come together and make a difference in her community. And it was officially made National Day of Recognition in 1978 by President Carter. So yesterday, if you didn't know, was National Good Neighbor Day. So with that, we really wanted an opportunity for all of you to meet some really amazing good neighbors right here in the heart of South Sacramento. Today, we'll get an opportunity to hear directly from some of these amazing neighborhood leaders. But I also wanted to let you know that if you want to learn more about our various neighborhood association, definitely check it out. Team Heart and Hustle will put the link up here so that you can learn more about our District 8 Neighborhood Association. If you visit heartandhustle.org/neighborhoods, and we'll make sure to put that up as well so that you could check out all the different neighborhood association in District 8. We'll also make sure to link if you're trying to figure out, where am I in the city of Sacramento? Who's my council representative? We want to make sure that you know exactly who your rep is as well. We'll put the link for you to find your district and to see if you are in our district, District 8 as well. So with that, we're going to jump right in, and I am going to ask my panelists a few questions. But before we begin the conversation, if we can just go around and I'll probably just call out your name. If you could, one, introduce yourself. So share with us your name, even though we see your name on the screen. But if you can share your name, the neighborhood you live in, and your neighborhood association title, that would be great. So why don't we start with that before I go into some of the questions? And with that, why don't we start with Lisa Lindsay?
Quiet. Hi, everyone. I'm sorry. That's my puppy and my dog acting up, of course, now that I'm live in front of the world. Excuse me, one hot minute. Excuse me. Move. Okay. I'm sorry. Thank you.
No worries at all, Miss Lisa.
All right. Now, what am I doing? Am I telling you who I am and what I do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I live in Wildwood HOA, which I also manage. And I started a management company 15 years ago to help the situation in my neighborhood, which is a great neighborhood, by the way. And I got a contract managing Morrison Creek Estates, which used to be a part of the infamous G Parkway. You wouldn't recognize it today. The difference is amazing. And that's one of the things I like about my neighborhood, just watching this phoenix rise out of the ashes and watching how people work hard to sustain our progress.
That's awesome. Thanks, Miss Lisa. And I know we'll definitely go in a little bit more, but wanted to just go around really quick. And you do really great work there. So we'll go into it a little bit more, but I wanted to go around so that everyone can do introductions. Why don't we go with Margarita next?
Hi, I'm Margarita Chavez, and I'm here with the Detroit Neighborhood Association. And well, Leverly was going to be, but he couldn't make it. But he's our president. I'm co-chairperson. There's another Charlotte Caron is also, but I don't know why she's not here. But we're doing a project here for the school. It's almost done. It took like 5 years to get the park better, and other stuff, we're doing, So,
I know, and I'm excited to hear about that too. So thank
Yeah.
you so much, Margarita, for joining us today. Miss Sequita.
Hi, everyone. I am Sequita Thompson. I am of Blessed Child Neighborhood Association right here on 29th Street. And also, I have a borderline of 24th, Meadowview, and Florin Road. They have put in speed bumps, humps, or bumps, whatever you call them, on 29th. They add additional ones. And now I just got good news that we've been having petition for Elwood. So they will be coming in and work with the neighborhood, with the children, giving out food, working with different organizations. And I just love it. I love my neighbors too.
That's great, Miss Sequita. We'll definitely go into a little depth a little bit more, but so great to have you on as well. And then Gary.
Hi, my name is Gary Johansson. I'm the president of the North Laguna Creek Neighborhood Association. And I've lived in this neighborhood now for about 10 years, and I love my neighborhood. I used to live in the Oak Park area, and we had a nice little area right there, but moving over to North Laguna Creek, it was just like the difference on me was between night and day. I live in a little cul-de-sac, and it's nice and quiet over here. And I love my neighborhood. I work in an elementary school, and when we do have meetings again, that's where we'll be meeting, Irene B. West.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Gary, and thank you so much for your service in the North Laguna area. So my first question for all of you is, when and why did you get involved with your community? And how did you engage with your local neighborhood association if you started one? So the first question is, when and why did you get involved in your community? What was your reason for getting activated? So let me start with Miss Sequita Thompson.
Well, this is how I got involved. Effie Gatt, who is Hampton Station, she has a grandmother's club organization. So I went over there one day, and she was talking to me, and she said that we don't have a president or no one that's taking care of 29th Street. And she told me to go home and pray about it. Yeah. But before all of this happened, my grandson was murdered in my backyard. And I started getting involved with the community then. There was another young man that was not mentioned, and he had just came up from college for Rayshawn Harris, and he was killed in Coral Gables. And so I really started getting involved with the families, start working with the associations. I even worked with Miss Jackie and with my church, Bayside. Well, it's now called Midtown. But anyway, I went home, and like I said, I prayed on it, and I came involved with the community. I started walking the neighborhood, started getting to know my neighbors more. And I've been doing this ever since my grandson, it's been like going on two years or 3. Well, he's been gone for 3 years. But I started at San Pernell and had our meetings there before the COVID. And I got to meet a lot of people. And so I started getting involved and start talking. And I also now I'm involved with Volunteer of America for the homeless women's shelter across the street with Anna. And she's now has joined the Blessed Child Association. So I have a lot of people that works with us now. And my vice president is Lisa Baker, and she has helped me a lot. So we work with Western Services also, because we have Christmas. We give out food for Christmas and toys. And we also work with for Thanksgiving. And this year, since we didn't get to do the block party last year, we're not going to have the Halloween treat and trunk. We're going to have the block party. And that's going to be October the 9th. And it's going to be right on 29th Street in Twilight. And so we just hope to see everybody out here. And I love my neighborhood. I really love my neighborhood, and I got to know my neighbors, and they help us to a lot. So I thank God for that.
Thank you,
you.
Miss Aquita. And I just want to say thank you so much for, your leadership and creating Blessed Child. And it's been an honor just walking the streets with you, knocking on doors, speaking with neighbors when there are issues in the community. So I just want to thank you so much for activating this community. And thank you so much for your service and sharing why you got involved and engaged in the neighborhood. What about you, Miss Lisa?
Well, I moved into my neighborhood 29 years ago, and I worked midnights as a manager at a corporation. And so therefore, when I got off at 6 in the morning, the only thing I did was jog 3 or 4 miles so I could go home and be asleep by 10 a.m. Because I got off at 7 a.m. and working midnights is really hard to sleep. So I just didn't realize that this was at the time notoriously G Parkway. I live in the townhouses near the post office, quiet. And I was always interested in community affairs. All my life, I've been that way. Well, when I finally, after being in Sacramento 3 years, I got a promotion and had to go to day shift. Then, amazingly, to my surprise, I found out my neighborhood was the worst neighborhood in Sacramento, or one of them. So I immediately started working with the councilman's office, councilperson's office, working with SAC PD, working with the association surrounding me, including the association across Franklin, where all of the parkways are. I think it's called Parkway Association, I believe. Shortly thereafter, I started going to city council meetings and just really fighting to change things. And at the same time, I think SHRA and several national, county, private agencies were working to create Phoenix Park. Once that happened, Phoenix Park came along, I believe, in 2005, or maybe broke ground in 2005. I retired December of 2005. Started actually getting more involved with my HOA. I had been a president of the HOA for a couple of years and got involved and ended up having to replace the manager. And the board asked me to become a manager. And I told them, sure, as long as I can create a company, because I just retired. I'm not trying to work for anybody. But my heart and soul really accelerated once I took over managing, because it was a lot of hard work to fight to turn a neighborhood around and work with police, work with the council and the mayor, work with SHRA, work with Norwood, work with Jackie Rose. Me and Jackie Rose have been hitting this ground for 30 years. Okay, I've known Jackie for forever. That's my homie. We always say we don't know what's going to happen if either one of us leaves. Well, now at this point in life, I'm not going to give Jackie's age away, but I'm 69, so I can stop saying that. So what I've started saying is, which one of the young people that I've mentored, so many over the years, is willing to step in my shoes? And I'm finding a boatload.
That's great. That's really great. And Miss Lisa, thank you so much. I think we always hear the story of former G Parkway and now it's Phoenix Park, and how much it has transformed and improved the lives of families and young people there. And a big part of that was Miss Jackie Rose, and also you, Miss Lisa, for never giving up on this community and making sure that we do everything we can to protect our neighborhood and our youth and our families. So thank you so much for sharing your story of why you got involved and engaged in the community as a neighbor. Thank you so much. And Gary, you're next. So share with us a little bit about how you, when and why. You shared it a little bit when you introduced yourself, but why did you get involved, active in the North Laguna Neighborhood Association? What drove you to that moment?
What drove me to that was our vice president, Ramel DeClenis. I worked with his wife, and he got me started in Nextdoor, and we're both leads on Nextdoor in North Laguna Creek. And he got me started with the neighborhood association. And our goal in the neighborhood association is our main objective is to keep the communication going in our neighborhood regarding crime, safety, new planning and development, and also effects this has on our neighborhood and developing solutions. And we're just interested in the communication in our neighborhood about getting, when we do start meetings again, we'll have the police department there to answer any type of questions. My main reason, other than meeting Ramel, was because of where I lived before, there was a lot of crime. Over here, there wasn't as much crime, and I wanted to try to keep, like Neighborhood Watch, I wanted to try to keep our streets much safer. And we have a park right by North Laguna Creek, in North Laguna Creek Park. I've done a lot to have a lot of things there repaired, and I only work 2 miles from here. From where I live, I work with a bunch of kids, and my objective is to, which I've spoke to you about, safe passage to school. And my objective is to keep this area from going downhill, trying to keep everything running smoothly here.
Awesome.
We'll do that.
Well, thank you so much, Gary, for everything that you're doing for the North Laguna area. You're one of the most active community members in that area, and I know it's beautiful because of you. Margarita, you're next, but I always say, you are truly, all of you are truly the eyes and ears on the ground, keeping us informed at City Hall and Team Heart and Hustle on our feet, because you see firsthand all the issues that's happening in the neighborhood. And so really grateful just for your leadership there, and all of you for the great work that you're doing. Margarita, what about you? Share a little bit about how you got activated and why did you get involved in the community and with your local neighborhood association?
Well, I wasn't like planning to get doing all this stuff. It just kind of happened. It fell into my lap because I moved in here in this area over 24 years ago, and I started walking for exercise, and then I started seeing junk and illegal piles and stolen cars and abandoned cars. So I started calling. It wasn't 311 then. It was, you had to dial 808. But then I started writing everything down, and sometimes I would take pictures, and then so all that, I says, geez, this is like, it's getting done, and then 2015, end of 2015, Larry Carr made a thing here at the school about getting the association started back on. It used to be another association, but it fell apart, but now we started again. And then thanks to you also for helping us, and then we got the funds for the school, for Susan B. Anthony, to get the park. But now I've also teamed up with Sacramento Picks It Up. It's a Facebook page, and you post all the trash you pick up, and there's a challenge to pick up at least a bucket a day. And you cannot imagine all these amazing men and women that go out to the rivers or the homeless camps, abandoned homeless camps. They do tons of picking up. And it's amazing. And today I went to the school and picked up trash there. And then I went here to the 2 lots that we have here by the school, and I picked up that too. And I'm constantly calling illegal dumping, constantly calling for illegal dumping. And so it's like another thing I like to do, like to pick up trash. I just get a high. I don't like to see it dirty. I can't stand to see it dirty, I like to take pride in. I've been seeing people, they've been seeing me, and then they say, oh, thank you. I says, well, you can do it too. I'm trying to set an example and inspire people, But also, I want to thank you. I've also joined up with Sergeant Louis Pease. He's now retired, but he was Justice for Neighbors, and it was a next door. I was the first person that called. So from 2014 to now, I have helped get 5 bad families out of the area that were renting and just causing trouble. And with the help of 5 other good neighbors, they helped me, get these people out. They're just constantly creating, they're vendors, so they can move. But now I guess with COVID, that's not that easy. But before, it was pretty darn easy to get them out if they didn't follow the rules. Because a lot of us, we're buying our homes and we want it to be nice, where you don't have to be ducking at 5 o'clock in the morning because you hear bullets, So that's what I'm trying to make it safe for all of us, And I also, somebody just emailed me. I don't know where she got my email. She said she saw it on TV, but she lives on Detroit. It's a Hindu family. They're having really bad trouble with a neighbor who's kind of mental, and he's been throwing BB guns to the windows. And I called, I text her to call your office and get Jaime on it. So thank you, Mai, for that, because it's really dangerous, when you have somebody that's really mental. And actually they boarded up most of their house because he's broken all their windows. It's kind of that way, And maybe the other lady from G Parkway must know how it feels to live like that. I wouldn't want anybody to live like that. And I'm constantly praying for them and texting her, how's it going, and looks like the mental office, the officers that do the mental outreach have gone to talk to him, but sometimes he's not there, or he has I think they finally talked to him. But I'm just praying that he's not going to do something to them, because he's kind of hallucinating, that they're trying to get him out, evict him out. They have nothing to do with him. It's just like something really bad. And I just got this bad feeling, and I'm praying and praying, that something gets resolved, because I hate to hear the news that, well, why did it happen, because they reached out, and I still, a lot of times, it just pulls at my heart, because I have a house in front of me. I have no house. There's an empty lot because somebody lost their house, and he cut all the pipes, and the house was black mold. They had to bulldoze it, that kind of stuff. People lash out sometimes when they lose their homes. So I'm praying for them, and there's just a wonderful family. I know them. I don't know them personally, but I pass by there. They always seem so sweet and nice. And my neighbor across the street, he says that his young son is also a friend of that young man, and he's also praying for them. I told him what's going on. So just be more aware of the situation, But I think we all need to be more aware. That's what I do. Also, I patrol around my area. I used to walk, but because of the dog situation now, with a lot of loose dogs, I patrol now. I go around and, okay, there's another pile. Get the address, figure what's on that pile, get it cleaned up. Also, because of so much stuff out in the street, I've constantly had to call 311 with tires on the road, sheetrock on the road. That is so dangerous. It's about safety. Everything I do is about safety, either about good neighbors, or it's the bad neighbors, or stuff in the street that could cause an accident. That's my main concern, is safety for all of us,
Yeah. Well, Margarita, first, let me just say thank you for everything that you do for our city and for Detroit Neighborhood Association. And I do appreciate you also reaching out to office. I'm glad that you reached out to Jaime, so we'll make sure to follow up with that. One, I want to make sure that individual, that has certain mental health conditions, that they get all the services they need as well, right? That's really important. And at the same time, also want to make sure that we address any concern for the family in particular. So you did say that. I know we're live, but you did send that information to Jaime. I want to make sure that we follow up. So
yes,
we'll make sure.
I just texted her yesterday. Yeah. She texted me. Yeah.
Great. This is if y'all watching live, this is this is a live chat, but it's also Heart and Hustle. So we're gonna work while we're doing live chat. So if my team's watching in this, make sure you circle back with Margarita as well. We want to make sure that we follow up on that case in particular. And just really quick before we go to Miss Effie Gant, because I see that Miss Effie is on and she is getting situated, because I know she just got home right now. Margarita, you talked a little bit about, wanting to just be a role model, right? And having folks, when they watch you do this, that they're also inspired. And I just want to say that you're not just a role model, but you're a real model, right? That you live and breathe the Detroit Neighborhood Association, and you're doing everything you can to protect the community. So I just wanted to say thank you so much. And then with that, Miss Effie, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, well, Miss Effie, we are live right now, and would love for an opportunity for you to just share a little bit about yourself and why you started Hampton Neighborhood Association and why you became an active community member.
Okay, thank you. I have two computers going. Just shut down one.
No
so
worries.
I can use my camera.
That's okay. We're live right now, but we will just keep going, doing what we can. We'll do the best that we can. We can hear you, Miss Gant.
All right, well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here to share with you all as far as the Hampton Station community. I became the Hampton Station community in 2016. Is when I came in to Hampton Station. We had purchased the home in reference to our to our nonprofit organization, and we focus in on agriculture. We had did a survey in District 8 in the Meadowview area, and we saw the land and we said, wow, this is a good place to really start a community garden. We understood that Meadowview was considered a food desert. So we wanted to come in and provide growing healthy vegetable, fruits, and trees. So we went to city council. The president at that time was actually going to sell his home because the Hampton Station was built in 2012. That's when I actually came in. So he called me and asked me would I be interested in becoming the president. And I got a call, I think it was from City Hall. And I had the opportunity to meet with the council member at that time, who was Bonnie Purnell, and the chief of staff, who was Matthew Bryant. So I shared the vision with them and they was on board with it. And that's actually how I became the president. Then I met Mr. Larry Carr, who also was the next council member after Ms. Purnell. And I met Council Member Matt Vane, who was working with us during that time. So we actually have had a lot of, I would say, a lot of success when it comes to agriculture and growing and expanding the program here. The program itself has expanded to the point where it is now a licensed, certified garden nursery, meaning that we are certified by the Food and Agriculture Department of California. Our programs includes training and opportunities and resources pertaining to agriculture and growing vegetables, fruits, and trees for the community that you might eat healthy, and also knowing what to juice and drink to improve your health immune system. So I'm happy to say that the majority of Hampton Station, you would really be surprised at the agriculture growth that takes place. But not only just Hampton Station, I found out that the surrounding communities actually have grow gardens, and they grow vegetables, fruits, and trees. And they're really it's a very positive, stimulating growth that has taken place and is continuing to take place. I think it's Blessed Child, Miss Sarita Thomas. She has a garden. Jessie has a garden. I really believe the council member have a garden because she had shared with me at one time that she had a lot of things growing in her backyard. So I find Hampton Station to be very serenity. There's a lot of serenity here because of the life which is growing. We've had our challenges. We have our challenges like all other communities. The biggest challenge is, I would say, traffic here, speed bumps, and lighting. Those are the biggest issues here in Hampton Station. And we're just looking forward to more stimulating projects to take place. One of the most stimulating programs that is moving forward now is that we have the opportunity with training. We take our youth, our volunteer youth, and we also have senior citizens that work with us. And as we go into the farmers markets, they have an opportunity to really see the value of just growing their own secular plants, buying fresh vegetables and fruits while they are there. One of the famous, farmers market that we work in right now, because I believe in the fact that charity starts at home, is the Thorn Farmers Market. And we're there every Thursday, and we go in and we share the growth of our succulents, the diversity of the succulents. We take our senior citizens that work with us in with us. We also take our volunteers from time to time. And they're introduced to that. They're introduced to our juicing program. And we really urge our community pertaining to health and building a strong immune system to go to our website. And the website is Highways and Hedges Garden Nursery, and that gives you a background in reference to the 501c3. And that's who we are. I'm working in the field and in the body of Christ as an evangelist. I'm an ordained minister. I migrated from Illinois in 2001 to California. And I came here on a mission, and that mission is to feed the hungry, spirit, soul, and body. So we're still moving forward. We have collaborative partners. One of them is the Tree Foundation. And as a matter of fact, Victoria, who is here today, in reference to sharing information how to keep these trees strong. We have fruit trees that has been given to our community in reference to growing. They have came in from the Tree Foundation and put more trees in the park to beautify it so that we'll have shade. And that's the kind of information that's available to Meadowview, not only just Hampton Station, but to the surrounding communities also. We look forward to working in unity, and we want our families to be safe. We want safety, we want health, and we want unity. That's what we really want. Understanding and knowing that District 8 is the most diverse and the biggest district there is. So we look forward to really meeting and collaborating with everyone. I was in a meeting on yesterday with, I think her name is Jennifer Halstead. I can't think of her last name, okay? But we are looking forward, council member.
Jennifer
That's
Holden.
great. Yeah, Jennifer. That's great, Effie. And thank you so much about sharing your story and why you got involved. And you're absolutely right. You know, Meadowview is a food desert, and it really starts, one, I think, making sure we address food insecurity, but a big part of that is learning how to grow our own foods. If we rent, if we own a home, how do we do that? And I know that you've been leading that work at Hampton Station. So I want to thank you so much for sharing your story and also doing all the great work that you are in South Sacramento. I know that we've been on for about 34 minutes or so. And so I wanted to make sure that I circle back. Wanted to ask you, because yesterday was National Good Neighbor Day. And, you know, as I was listening to all of your stories of why you got activated, I was going to ask you this question, but I think all of you embody what makes a good neighbor. But my question is really for all of you. And I want to ask you, what does a good neighbor mean to you? What is one thing that someone can do to be a good neighbor in South Sacramento? So those are two questions. What does a good neighbor mean to you? And what is one thing that someone can do to be a good neighbor in South Sacramento? So with that, let me start with Gary.
I think a good neighbor to me would be somebody who keeps the lines of communication open and goes their way to say hi to you, even if it's just a wave walking down the street.
Right.
If you walk around the block and you see trash on the ground, pick it up.
Pick it up. Exactly.
And just be friendly with your neighbors and don't give anybody a hard time. Just try to work with them.
That's awesome. Thanks, Gary. That's great. Miss Sequita, what makes a good neighbor? What does a good neighbor mean to you? And what is one thing that folks can do to be a good neighbor?
Oh, I got a lot.
Okay.
I have some good neighbors. A good neighbor to me is like my husband is handicapped. We always he's always out there in the garage, and they always coming by and saying hello. And all the little kids, hi, Mr. Tommy T. Hi, Miss Thomas. And it's just that it's beautiful because you can see the kids when they're going to school. Not only that, when my neighbor needs car jumped, or they don't have enough milk, or they don't have enough, they don't know what the resources can they go to if they need something to eat, or there's a lot of things and we all go together, like me and Miss Lois and I. We go around the neighborhood cleaning up our trash on the neighborhood too. And that's a good neighbor. I love Miss Lois. And I just love all my neighbors. The ones that cross the street, John, them, they always saying, do you need any help? Do you need us to do anything for you? And it's just about being friendly and getting up in the morning and seeing their faces. If they're sad, I'll say, oh, wait a minute. I'll wait for my husband to tell you a joke. You'll smile and brighten up your day, because it's, we thank God that we wake up in the morning and it's happy to see each other. All of us have ups and downs, but there's always someone that make you laugh. And my husband makes everybody laugh. They love Tommy T. That's what they call him, Tommy T or Papa. So my neighbors, I love with our neighbors. Even like down the street, there was a fire. And they said, oh, you called? I called the ambulance. And my other neighbor next door to me, he hurried up and took off out of his car. Because it was back here in the field. I think you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And my neighbors was glad that I had called. But they had took off out of the house, and they said it was a good thing that you had called, because nobody had called. Mm-hmm. And so it's just a good thing to be with the neighbors and know everybody. So, if something's going on, then someone can tell you. Like one of my neighbors, their car got broken into with the Cadillac converter and things like that. And they said, did you see anybody? And I have cameras. So that's what's good about being with the neighbors. I love the neighborhood. Yes, taking care of our neighbors, and they're taking care of us, and friendly. And if you have some mental issues or stuff, they will talk about it, but they talk about it like to certain people and everything like that. And the children, they're going to tell you everything. I seen this person. I seen that. Miss Thompson, look. And grandma, they call me grandma. I adopted a lot of them for grandma. They're my grandkids. Especially Julia. That's one of my favorites. out of, they got about 7 kids, and he's my favorite. And Jesus next door.
I don't know,
Yeah.
Miss Aquita, everyone's your favorite.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
That's so great. Thank you so much.
I love the neighborhood, and that's my goal.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Aquita. And Miss
You're
Lisa, what about you? What makes a good neighbor to you? And what is something that someone can do to be a good neighbor? What is one thing they can do?
Well, all I can say to you guys is it's not even what I think or my opinion or, you know, the light I would shine, because I have good neighbors, hands down.
Mhm.
We have swim parties together. We have fun together. We have keys to each other's houses. We watch out for each other's animals. They'll go pick my animal up from the vet. I've picked theirs up, taken them. We've supported each other in putting them down because we're all super animal lovers in my neighborhood. You know, one of the rules is about certain types of animals, and I do like this for that. It's like, I can't help you with that. But by me being the manager and I live here, my neighbors have gotten my back. You know, there are times when I have to go out and confront someone doing illegal stuff or being a nuisance in the neighborhood at 3 o'clock in the morning. I put on what I call my stalker coat and go out in the front, and I usually elevate my voice. Next thing I know, 4 or 5 of my neighbors got their stalker coats on too, and we're out dealing with the nuisance in the neighborhood. We do that as a team. We've had great losses in our neighborhood. One of my neighbors lost her husband. I don't know if you guys heard about it last year. He worked for the state and got electrocuted on the job. And every last one of us pitches in some way to support her and uplift her. And if she's down, you know, we're there. We've had a neighbor who fell and hurt himself, and a lot of us have had to cook and take meals. So I think I live with good neighbors. They call 911. They don't, you know, a lot of managers I talk to, they're like, everybody calls me to call 911. My neighbors aren't like that. They jump in, they get involved, and they tell on people in the neighborhood who are a problem. Like I believe you were mentioning, I can't see anymore, so I would say your name, where you clean up, you know, you're inspired to clean your neighborhood up. We keep our neighborhood extremely clean, and people will call and literally give me addresses and names of people that they saw dumping. I think that says a lot for my neighbors, because a lot of people are afraid to speak up, afraid to get involved, you know, afraid something will happen to them. My neighbors aren't like that. I guess I just live in neighbor heaven.
Well, that's really great, Miss Lisa,
Awesome.
that you're really well connected with your neighbors. I know for me in particular, I live in the Cabrillo Meadowview area. I have seniors that live next to me, a family that lives across, and I know that every time when Liz makes tamales, she always has Daniel or Deanna come over, knock on the door, and bring me over some tamales, right? Food is also a really great way of being a good neighbor.
Yeah.
Because I'm so busy, I don't have time to cook.
Does she make them with the green sauce or the red sauce?
The green sauce.
Yes.
Yeah, so
I
yeah.
make both.
Oh, yeah, Margarita makes both. So
We'll be at your house next, Margarita. Okay.
yes, Margarita. I think food is also, you know, coming over with food to your neighbor is also a good gesture as well. So with that though, Margarita, what about you, Margarita? What makes a good neighbor, and what is one thing that we can do to be a good neighbor in South Sacramento?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, just being aware, you know, and especially if you have, like you say, elderly people, just go over there. Sometimes I have introduced myself, and I says, hey, you know, I'm here if you need something or you need a ride. Lately, I'm helping Kai. You know Kai.
Yes.
Going through the store, and then another one tomorrow. I'm taking another elderly. She doesn't drive. to the doctor early in the morning. And then Miss Aquita, I go down 29th Street. I seen that garage door open and seen your husband there.
Yes,
And I
ma'am.
go down that street because that's my shortcut. But I have done so much calling for illegal dumping on your street too. That's a good
Aw.
neighbor.
Yes, we
That's a
have to
good neighbor.
clean it.
And
Yeah.
also for high grass, when it used to rain, there was one house across your street down a little bit more
Yes,
that
that's
it
what
was
John.
higher than the wrought iron fence, and that was a
Mhm.
big one.
You know,
Anyway,
Right.
So that's
it's just
great.
taking
Go ahead, Margaret.
look at this and that, and then I just painted my wrought iron fence. I have like 200 feet of wrought iron fence. I did it by
Wow.
brush. My neighbor
Mhm.
came and he volunteered. It took me from
Oh,
August the 10th to past September 15th to do it in little whiles. And I never asked nobody to help me. He came, and even the neighbors' kids came. My granddaughter came to help me. And it's because I've also been there for them. That's why they
right,
come. If
exactly.
you give it out, you're going to get it back.
That's right.
And it just
Yeah.
feels so good,
Absolutely.
that they do that it's reciprocated back to you. All that good stuff you give out there, it comes back to you.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
That is so great, Margarita. I know that we still have a little bit time left. My team is flagging me to let me know that we're about the 45-minute mark. But this actually goes into my last question, and you just gave an example of an instant where you experience acts of kindness from your neighbors, right? I know there have been so many instances in South Sacramento community really coming together to do something great. And oftentimes, even though I am an elected official, I always say it's at the end of the day, it's community taking care of community, right? Even before elected officials can get involved, we are there on the front lines, always taking care of each other. And so my last question to all of you, and Ms. Gant, I'm going to go with you first and ask this question is that, can you share with us just one example of an experience where there was an act of kindness from neighbors in South Sacramento that you've seen in your lifetime?
There's an act of kindness that takes place here in Hampton Station during Thanksgiving and during Christmas. There are block party celebrations where different, let's say Thanksgiving, one of the homes, our directors, we have directors. And so the director will choose to host a Thanksgiving morning breakfast, and everybody's invited.
That's awesome.
So we have many that show up to eat a wonderful Thanksgiving breakfast. We also have a Christmas dinner. So we have the community turning out at one of the directors' home, whether it be the vice president or so on directors or myself. We also have had an act of kindness when we come together for potlucks.
Yeah.
In our potlucks, we really just share the diversity of food, and we usually meet at the Hampton Station Park, and we would have it in the gazebo.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I've been to one of those, Ms. Gant. So
Yes.
they're amazing.
And before Kobe came in, we used to have really big turnouts because we would have over 60 and 70 of our residents and owners showing up for the multicultural sharing at that time. So that was definitely an act of kindness. And usually when you come through our community, everyone, whether you know them or not, they'll wave at you. They'll say hi to you. And I think the fact that we just respect each other's space also, because that's very important when it comes to a community, is that we learn to respect the space and treat others the way we want to be treated. So I hope that answered your question.
That's great. Thanks, Ms. Gant. Ms. Aquita, can you share with us an example of acts of kindness of neighbors in South Sacramento?
Yes, I can. My husband was going down the driveway and his wheelchair tipped over. And my neighbor, Jesus, his father, Jesus speak English for all his family. And and my neighbor across the street, John, they helped him up. And that's what I just was, oh, my neighbors, they said, oh, and they just came and helped. I mean, that just showed me that how much the neighbors are really, that really care. And because I could have called the ambulance or anything, they could have just walked away. But they said, oh, Mr. Thompson, and he fell, and they just picked my husband up, and that's what I show. And then when the neighbors, like, they come over and they ask us, do we need anything? And they not even only that, they ask us, do we need anything? They say, are we all right? Are we okay? So that's what my neighbors, I have really good neighbors about that, because my husband could have really been hurt really bad, really bad. So that's what I thank God for my neighbors and coming over to help. Even the ladies them try to help them, but the men was most of them, but even the ladies too. So that's what that was a day that I'll never forget, but what my neighbors done for us.
That's awesome. Thank you so
Yes.
much for sharing that, Ms.
You're
Equita. I think
welcome.
we have many neighbors like that in South Sacramento. So thank you so much for sharing. Miss Lisa, do you have an act of kindness that you see in South Sac that you want to share?
I do. I have a couple. Again, I see acts of kindness in my neighborhood constantly where animals are concerned. I have never been around so many animal loving people. And even those that might not have animals will call. We have each other's numbers if your dog gets out or an animal gets hurt or we see somebody abusing an animal. So tolerate that. I consider that a ongoing act of kindness at all times. The other thing I wanted to talk about is there's this family I've pretty much adopted in Jamaica. I used to go on trips there, and then I no longer started going to the idiotic resorts, but actually started going to visit this family, and we've become friends. And when I get back to Sacramento, I donate clothes and stuff, since I'm buying clothes every 5 minutes. I gotta move the old out to put the new in. And they came across hard times and lost their jobs in the hospitality industry in Jamaica, which that's their income. That's everyone's income there. There's some industry, but not much. And of course, COVID took its toll, and that's what happened. And I swear, my neighbors all pitched in for like 4 months in a row to send this family money until they were able to make an adjustment. And I'm talking about 10 of my neighbors.
That's really great, Miss Lisa.
Yeah, they're very. I just live in heaven. I'm telling you, I will never move from here.
You have lots of example of good neighbors in your neighborhood. Yeah. That's really awesome.
And I think one reason is because those of us who are long term in the neighborhood, we know what we've been through and how people look at us.
Yeah.
People look at me like I'm crazy. They're like, oh my God, you stay in G Parkway, and I'm thinking I'm making enough money to stay wherever I want to. I choose to stay where I like my unit. I like my neighborhood.
That's right. That's awesome, Miss Lisa. Thank you so much for sharing. Gary, what about you? Give us a time where you saw like an act of kindness in South Sacramento.
The acts of kindness that I see are because I live in a little cul-de-sac, and a neighbor will come over and they'll make too much food and they'll bring you a plate of food. And I do the same. I have a garden with lots of peppers in it, and I'll make some salsa up. I'll make too much, and I'll bring it around and give it to my neighbors. And sharing, things with your neighbors, and I'll do a little yard work for some of my neighbors, and they'll do the same. But that's my good neighbor story is just in my little cul-de-sac right here, right now.
That's really awesome. It's really funny because you made me think about like, I have an elderly Filipino lady that lived next to me, and I got to do better at sometimes watering after 7 o'clock my plants. And Susan would come over sometimes to water my plants for me because I'm still in meetings. But yeah, I definitely see that here, even in Cabrillo, Medivie area as well. I have neighbors coming over after 7 o'clock to water my plants because I would forget I just don't have time. So they know I'm busy and they'll come over and water my plants for me after 7. So that's really great. Margarita, you're the last person. So, oh yeah. My mom too. Sometimes she gets off of work. She was like, "Your neighbor should not be watering your plants after 7. You should do." I was like, "I know, Mom. I'm in a Zoom meeting right now." But Margarita, what about you? I think you're the last person. Give us an example of an act of kindness that you've experienced in South Sacramento and Detroit.
Okay, especially here in Detroit, we have the Detroit Life Church, and this is one of my Facebook just the other day memory. September 17th from 2016. So we have walked and prayed for this community for over 6 years. We have a big, Hmong population here, beautiful people. Today we ended the prayer walk. We stood by this house and prayed over it because I told him to go over there. We don't know the exact circumstances of its being fenced up, but we believe our God is restoring, its goodness. So they haven't done it now because of COVID, but there's 500 homes. This church would send them 2 by 2 in front of each house, and they would pray for each house. Who does that in all of this world? It's amazing. So I was curious what they were doing, and I became friends with most of all of them. And then I said, yeah, I want a prayer for me. I want a prayer for my husband. I want a prayer for the street. I want a prayer for this community. And sure enough, they would pray for us, And that's the house on Detroit in 2016. It was taken over by squatters. And I called Justice for Neighbors. The next day they were there taking those people out. They got in an abandoned house. The person wasn't taking care of it. Nobody was living in there. 17 people. There was women. There was all kinds of races. They were hitting the women because they're not prostituting. They were not bringing enough money. They had the house in the back full of junk, the front in the junk. The neighbor next door is another nice Hmong family. They let me go in and take pictures. That's why I was able to call Justice for Neighbors. And that's why they went over there to pray. It took about 2 years for the city finally to take it over. It got remodeled, and now there's a nice family. And I say, every time there's something bad in the community, if you pray and do hard enough, things will turn around for the better.
Yeah.
It only has to get better, I say.
Thank you, Margarita. Thank you so much, everyone. I want to take this moment just to thank you, Gary, Miss Daquita Thompson, Lisa Lindsay, Margarita Chavez, and Effie Gant. Thank you so much for all the great work that y'all do in the neighborhood, being our eyes and ears on the ground, and not just neighborhood leaders, but our neighborhood, great neighbors. You are the type of neighbors that we want in South Sacramento that keeps us posted about what's happening on the ground. Thank you so much for everything that all of you do, and I really appreciate you making time this afternoon to go live with us. I feel like I was just messaging my team like, this feels like a live chat, but also office hours and working, because I'm like taking down notes of all the issues that are happening. So we're making sure to circle back and address some of the concerns that y'all brought up. But again, thank you so much. As you know, yesterday was Good Neighbor Day, and I really appreciate y'all coming on here live to celebrate with us and with our community about what makes a good neighbor. I want to take this moment again just to thank all our guests and remind folks that if you're watching and you're trying to figure out how to get involved with your neighborhood association, if you don't have a neighborhood association and you want to start one, please do contact our office. We can help you support you in this and making sure that a neighborhood association gets started. We'll add the link, and you can actually go to heartandhustle.org/neighborhoods. It's right there on the screen. If you want to actually start a neighborhood association, or if you want to join a current neighborhood association that we have. And even if you don't have time to get involved with the neighborhood association, right, we talked about things that you can do in terms of being a good neighbor in South Sacramento. Lots to do in the district. So if you don't have time even to join a neighborhood association, everyone could definitely be a good neighbor, right? Watch out for each other, take care of one another. That's how we're going to be able to get through this pandemic and really make sure that, you know, our communities are able to thrive. I also want to take this opportunity to let you all know that I have weekly office hours every Wednesdays from 4 to 5. So, you know, sign up with us as well if you want to have a moment just to chat with me and let me know what's going on in the neighborhood, or if you just want to talk and swing by via Zoom. We're here for you as well. You can call our office at 916-808-7008, or you can email us at district8@cityofsacramento.org. And lastly, if you have social media, because you're watching live right now, you can follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Our handle is the same for all 3 accounts. It's at CM My Vang on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can follow us there to get updates. And then one more announcement I just want to share is that as your councilwoman, I've been in office for about 8 months now. We're going to host our first ever South Sacramento Festival at Meadowview Park. And so really excited about that. We are, you know, asking folks to make sure that they are able to show proof of vaccination. If not, then they can just know from the doctors that they're not able to, which is fine, for ages 12 and up, and then 12 and up. And then also wanted to just let you all know that we also will have a beer garden at Meadowview as well. First ever, right? We've never had a beer garden there. So lots of cultural performances, great food. Louisiana Heaven will be there. So we have a restaurant from South Sacramento. There'll be ice cones. There's going to be activities for kids, pumpkin carving contest, live music. It's just going to be amazing. October 16th from 2 to 6. And we want to see all of you there, all of our neighbors, all of our residents in South Sacramento. It's going to be a big event, and I can't wait to see all of you. So I want to make sure that I put in that plug. Learn more at southsacfestival.org. And if you're interested in being a vendor as well, you can reach out to our office if you want to sponsor, if you want to get involved. If a neighborhood association wants to table, we want to make sure that we allow that opportunity as well. So again, you can reach us at district8@cityofsacramento.org. And with that, I think we will sign off. Thank you so much, Team Heart and Hustle, for putting that information
Bye,
out.
everybody.
Bye,
everybody.
Have a great evening, everyone. And
Bye,
we'll
everyone.
be together soon. Take care.
Okay.
And happy
Bye.
National Good Neighbor Day. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for
Bye-bye.
hosting.
Thank you.